All right, let's warm up the wrist. Come onto the hands and knees. We'll start the fingers facing outward, coming from side to side, adding in maybe a little bit of a half circular motion, come a little deeper. Feel free to go as fast or as slow as you like. Really playing with the range of motion through the wrist, working the weight down from one side to the other. Take the backs of the hands to the mat. Straighten the arms, roll the elbows forward, come back. This might be really intense on the wrist. For most of us, we're not used to putting pressure on the back of the wrist. So feel free to ease up if you need to, if you feel any pain. Working back. Take the hands backwards. Sit back towards the heels. Let the palms gently lift. Good. Come into your squat. If you need to modify, roll up the mat or just sit down. Really important to try to keep the heels down underneath the butt. I'm going to open up the shoulders here a little bit. Take the back of the hand to the back of the low back. Take your elbow in front of the thigh, other arm to the low back, elbow in front of the thigh. If this is too much for you, feel free to skip it, but it's a really nice way to start to open up the shoulders. You can add a little pressure inward through the thighs to add a deeper stretch. Try to keep the heart sitting up, the tailbone down. I'll hold this for about 30 seconds. Try to keep the breath nice and smooth. It's really important as we move through all these exercises that you keep the breath smooth and even. The breath directly correlates with our mood, our energy, our output. If we could keep everything slow and clear when we're moving through more advanced movements, then it's a little bit easier to actually control the body. Release the arms, shake out the shoulders, shake out the wrist. Grab onto the wrist with the index finger and thumb. Find a little separation into the joint. Roll through the wrist. Take it over to the other side. Separate the joint capsule, index finger and thumb, roll through the wrist. If you need more time to warm up the wrist, feel free to stop the video and warm up the wrist a little bit longer before moving on to the next part. If you're ready, plant the hands, come into downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths just to open up into the body, work the heels down towards the mat, press into the hands, let the chest fall down. Bring the right hand in towards center, lift the right leg up to the sky. Step it on the outside of the right hand, lower the left knee down. Let the right knee open up to the outer wall. Bring the right hand to the top of the knee, sink down into the hips. It's a really nice place to be. If you'd like to add on a little quad stretch, bend the left leg, reach back with the right hand, grab the top of the ankle, sink down a little deeper into the legs. Work onto the top of the left thigh. Open up through the chest, creating a little bit of a twist. Pull the right shoulder back. Release the foot. Bring the hands over to the left. Pivot both hands down the middle. Hang down the front. Relax the arms. Relax the back of the head. Create a nice stretch. Turn the heels slightly outward. If the head hits the ground, walk the feet in slightly so the head comes up. Take a few more breaths in this pose. Ready? Inhale, come up halfway. Walk the hands back to the front. Step back, plank pose. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take an inhale. Lift the left leg up. Bring the left hand in. Step the left foot on the outside of the left hand. Lower the right knee down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Bring the left hand to the inside of the thigh. Let the knee open up. Pull the left shoulder back. Maybe even gaze over. If you want to add in the right leg, reach back, grab the top of the foot, sink the hips down. Work deeper into the twist. Release the foot, bring the hands down the middle, walk towards the center of the mat, pivot both toes in, hang down. Take an inhale, come up halfway. Keep the right hand planted, reach the left arm up to the sky. Twist through the waist, gaze up to the left hand with the right eye. Bring the left hand down to the mat, plant it directly underneath the chest, reach the right arm up to the sky, twist through the waist. Take the right hand down, walk both hands to the front, step back, plank pose, lower chaturanga. Inhale, scoop the heart for up dog. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Press down through the heels, wrap the inner triceps down, really engage into your down dog to set it up. Take an inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward. On the exhale, slightly float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Press down to the heels, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms to the heart. Inhale, sweep up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, float back, chaturanga. Untuck the toes, lift the heart, up dog. Take the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, float forward. Halfway up. Fold back in. Press down, sweep the arms forward and up, wrap the triceps in, palms to heart center. Contract the core. Inhale, sweep up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, float it back. Untuck the toes, scoop the heart, up dog. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take one breath to set it up. Deep inhale. Lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward, float up. Halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, fold down. Press down to the heels, sweep the arms up, rise. Palms to heart center, tuck the chin. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway up, lengthen. Plant the hands, float it back, chaturanga. Untuck the toes, up dog. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward. Explode to the front. Halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, fold down. Press down, sweep the arms up, gaze up. Palms to heart center. Contract the core, press the hands towards each other. Inhale, sweep up, gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Plant the hands, float it back, bend arms. Inhale, scoop the heart up. Exhale, lift the hips back. Last time, inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Exhale, float it up. Halfway up, lengthen. Exhale, fold down. Press down the heels, rise up. Palms to the heart. Contract everything down the middle. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Halfway. Last time, plant the hands, float it back, chaturanga. Inhale, scoop the heart, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog to rest. If you need to put the knees down and take child's for a few breaths before moving on, feel free to do that. If not, try to find some rest into this pose. Really press the ground away. Slow down the body, slow down the mind, slow down the breath. Hopefully you're warm enough to make your way into the next exercise. If you need to do a few more of these, feel free to add it on. Bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders, press into the fingers, step the legs back, find plank pose. Really engage, pressing out through the hands, lift the center of the heart up. This is the most important part, is to finding the fundamental foundations through here. Press into the right big toe, reach the left leg up. Extend the right arm forward, thumb facing up to the sky. We're going to hold this for a full 30 seconds. Make sure that you're squeezing in. Use the core to support yourself for stability. The left hand should be directly underneath the shoulder. Engage through, press out through the heel. Try to lift the hip up, right hip down. Slowly set the right hand down underneath the shoulder. Bring the left foot down to the mat. Pick the right foot toes up. Come up onto the fingertips. Extend the left hand forward. Press the ground away. Pick the right hip up a little bit higher. Try to square out. Keep engaging through the core, straightening out through the right arm. Slow the breath. These are really difficult. If you need to modify it by just being on one finger or onto the fingertips or just lightly setting down the toes, feel free to do it that way. Last 5 seconds. Set the left hand down, right foot down, left foot up, right arm forward. Extend out, really reaching out through the fingers, thumb facing up. Square down through the hips. Keep the breath nice and even. Take the right hand down, left foot down, reach the left arm forward, reach the right leg up. Almost done. Set the left hand down, right foot down, lower the knees down, shake out the arms. Good way to really fire up the shoulders, fire up the core, start the workout outright. Take a few more breaths if you need to. If you're ready to move on with me, come back into plank pose. I'm gonna hold chaturanga a few times, just 3 of them for 15 seconds. Press into the ground, find a nice plank pose. Keep rounding out through the spine, slight tuck in the tailbone, really engage through the core. Pour the weight into the fingertips, come forward, hold chaturanga. We'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the arms. Roll forward, hold for 10. Feel free to put the knees down if you need to. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the arms. Last time, come forward, bend the arms. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the knees down. Shake out the arms. Again, if you need to take more rest between, feel free to. These are really challenging. It takes a lot of core engagement, a lot of arm strength to hold something like chaturanga for full 10 to 15 seconds like that, especially repeated. So if you don't get it the full count the first time, just really concentrate on holding a really good chaturanga. Come back, plant the hands, come up, downward facing dog. Again, this is a rest pose, so find a little rest in this pose. Send the heels down towards the mat, lift the hips up. Then inhale, lift the right leg, come up high on the left toes. Connect the right knee to right tricep for 6. Pull it in, contract the core, back and away. 5, 4, 3, 2, contract. Last one, squeeze it in, send it back, set the leg down. Then inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky, high up on the right toes. 6 on this side. Squeeze it in. 5, contract. 4, 3, pull it in. 2, last one, squeeze it in, set the leg down. Few breaths in downward facing dog. Again, rest in this pose. If you need to take child's pose, feel free to bring the knees down. Take a few breaths in child's. Take as long as you need. You could always stop and rest and continue on when you're ready. We'll start on the other side. Right leg up. Last time, come up high on the left toes. Right knee, right tricep. Squeeze it in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the leg down. Downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the left leg up. Wrap the triceps down high on the right toes. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, knee to elbow. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, set it down. Take a few breaths, resting down dog if you need to. Bring the knees down, child's pose, or simply sit back. Roll out the shoulders. Plant the hands, come back into plank pose. Engage through the shoulders, lift the arms up, squeeze the inner hands together. Slowly lower the hips down towards the wrist, pull the shoulders back. Take an inhale, pull it up for 10. Contract through the core. This most important part's the top of this, not the bottom. Inhale, lower. Exhale, pull it up, contract the core. 9. Inhale. 8. Inhale. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Set the knees down. Shake out the arms. Like always, if you need more time, take more time. Next exercise we're coming into is forearm plank. We're going to hold this for a total of 1 minute. Feel free to come in and out of it over the next minute. If you have the strength to hold through it, try to hold through it. Down onto the forearms. Extend the legs back. Engage through the core. Press the center of the heart. We're already in it. Really important to keep the breath smooth and controlled. This controls our mind. Engage the core a little bit more. Press the arms up. Press the hands forward, toes back. Keep the breath smooth and steady. You can do it. Engage the core a little bit more. Slight tuck of the tailbone. Halfway through it. Notice if you're wanting to sag, lift the body back up. Down to the last 15 seconds. Last 10. Walk the feet in, dolphin pose. Press the hips back. Take an inhale. On the exhale, straighten the arms for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly lower the elbows down. Lift them up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the knees down. Shake out the arms. We're going to work a little bit into the extensors. The extensors are the muscles that run along the back of the forearm. They're really important to strengthen and keep balanced. Most of the time, we work so much into the flexors that we neglect the extensors. So this is one of my favorite exercises to work for that. You're going to take your arms, you're going to reach them out in front of you. You could either be on your knees like this, or if you feel more comfortable, come into a nice squat position. Bring the fingertips together. Open up the hands as wide as you can, really working on pulling the fingers back towards the forearms. Close them in. We're going to just open and close these for about a minute. Should only take about 15 seconds to actually feel it working if you're doing them right. The wider you open your hands, the faster that you do it, the more that you feel it in the extensors. The stronger the extensors are, the stronger the wrists are, the stronger the forearms are. We're always looking to find equality through the front side and the back side of the body. If we have an inequality, then we have, tension on one side or a weakness, which causes for either injury or the lack of strength. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll the wrist out, shake it out. Come back down onto the mat, bring the knees down to the mat. So we did these a little bit in the fundamentals video. Lift the knees up, bring the hands to the heart. If you need to modify, you could always keep the fingers down. Slowly lower the knees down to touch. Bring it up for 10. Lower. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, slow and controlled. 3, 2, 1. Take the heels down to the mat. Bring the knees down. Heels down, knees down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, if those were impossible for you and you couldn't make it through them, or you can't bring your heels down because of flexibility, you could use a block this way. And you actually start kind of sitting on the block like this, hands at the heart, or reaching forward, come down onto the knees, and then sit back down onto the block. For people that have tight ankles, this is the way that you're going to have to do it until this movement starts to open up. Come up to stand. Reach the arms up. Work into shoulder pumps for about a minute. Start opening up the shoulders, up the arms. This is important for doing any kind of handstands, working through strengthening of the shoulders. Keep the breath smooth. Pump the heart back and forth. Fan the air. Halfway in. Last 20 seconds. Make sure you keep the core engaged through this, that you're not collapsing into the low back. The body retains some sort of rigidity. Release the arms down. Shake the arms out. Next, we're going to be working into some extensions throughout the side body. This comes from working handstands. When we come into our handstands, we really want to make sure that we're engaging, pressing out, and wrapping the triceps in to engage into the serratus and into the traps a little bit, releasing into the rhomboid. So you got to make sure that the shoulders are pulling forward. Start about 1 foot distance away from the wall. You can come up a little closer if you want. Coming closer to the wall makes it easier to be in the handstand. Farther away from the wall makes it easier to come up onto the wall. So if you can't just walk up the wall, you could always start with your hands back and walk forward. So plant the hands down on the mat, walk the feet up. When you come up into this handstand position, one toe on the wall, if you need to walk the hands back towards the wall, walk the hands back towards the wall. Keep one toe there, press out. You're going to slowly lower the shoulders down. Press it up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Walk the feet down. Take a few moments in your squat position just to reset. Let the blood come back down into the body, out of the head. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy, take a little bit more time before moving on. Like I said, the more that you do this, the less that it's going to be in the head, and the easier it is to be upside down for longer periods of time. Ready for round 2, plant the hands, walk the feet up the wall. Again, one toe, maybe take the other foot to the wall this time. Extend out through the side body. Wrap the triceps back. Really work on this extension. Slowly lower down. Extend out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk the feet back down. Slow and controlled. Come into your squat. Shake the arms out. You're going to take a few more breaths here before moving on. Take a few more breaths. Come into a cross-legged seat. Sit up nice and tall. In the fundamentals video, we use blocks along the side with our feet down. If you feel like you're not ready to bring the hands to the ground and you want to use the blocks again, take your hands to the blocks. We're going to come into the same motion, leaving the feet on the ground. These are called the Lasana lifts. Plant the hands alongside, straighten the arms. Lift the butt up, engage the core. Lower down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Relax. One more set of those. These will get progressively harder. In the next level, we're going to take the feet up off the mat and just simply lift our body weight up and down only using our arms. But this is the way that we build the strength into the core. So really, as you push up, make sure that you're concentrating on pulling the core in, rounding through the spine, lifting the pelvic floor up. Hands alongside the hips. Plant down into the hands, straighten the arms. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lift up, contract the core. Slight tuck of the tailbone, round down. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the butt down. Shake the arms out. Stretch out our belly a little bit, coming into a back bend, come onto the knees. Bring the hands to the low back. Press the thighs forward, lift the heart up. If your back isn't very flexible, stay here. If you think you can move on, bring the hands down to the ankles, press the thighs forward. Relax the head back. If this feels comfortable and you want to go a little bit further, untuck the toes, come onto the tops of the feet. Keep pressing the thighs forward like you're pressing into a wall. Again, breathing gets a little bit more difficult in this pose. Make sure you're not collapsing into the low back, meaning that you're pressing the heart up, lengthening the tailbone down. Take the hands to the low back. Slowly assist your way up. Curl the toes under, sit the butt down. Work onto the back. Wheel pose. If you had a lot of trouble in that last pose, you might not be ready for wheel, come into bridge pose, the same pose that we did in the video, the fundamentals video. If you're ready for wheel, lay back onto the back, plant the heels underneath the knees, bring the hands behind the shoulders. Lift yourself up, reset on the crown of the head, reset the hands, straighten the arms. Wrap the triceps in, maybe work on straightening the legs. Squeeze the inner knees together. Heel slightly out. Again, breathing gets a little bit more difficult in this pose. So try to keep the breath nice and smooth. Hold for a few more breaths. Slowly lower down, tuck the chin. Keep the arch in the back, so we're not pulling the knees in. If you feel the need to pull the knees in or immediately come into a twist, that means that you probably went too deep into your back bend. Back bends are progressive, so we want to keep this arch in the back as we work through them. If you're ready for the second round, again, set up, bring the hands behind the shoulders, fingers to face behind you, press into the heels, reach it up, maybe straighten the legs forward, and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down, tuck the chin. Set the tailbone down. Let the knees windshield wiper from the left to the right. Draw the knees into the chest. Sit up. Come up. Lift the heart. Work into a little bit of core just to finish out the program. Take the legs up, lift the heart up, reach your arms forward. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lower. Pull it up for 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Hold up here. Keep the heart reaching up. Knees can be bent or straight. For the last 10, lower down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Plant the feet, cross the legs, plant the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Walk the feet forward. You might be a little bit sweaty now. If you need to, grab a towel. draft the triceps, make things a little bit easier, or if you're wearing pants, sometimes that helps too. We're gonna come into crow, holding it for 2 rounds of 30 seconds. Now, most of you guys think that a minute of crow is a really long time, and it is, but once you really start to understand this pose and know how to do this pose, it becomes more about a balance thing rather than a strength thing. So as getting into it, we're gonna work into it trying to hold both legs up, but if you can only hold one leg up, then you're only holding one leg up. Or if you can't bring either feet off the mat, then keep both feet on the mat. Plant the hands directly underneath the shoulders, take the knees to the backs of the triceps. Higher up on the armpits, the better. Lean forward, pick up one foot, hold it here. Maybe pick up both. Maybe you have to set one down or whatever, engage into the arms and hold. Try to stay firm and steady. Slowly set the feet down. Come into a little squat. Go for round 2. Approach these things the best that you can. Don't judge yourself if you can't do it. This is something that I've been working at for years and years, and it's taken a lot of practice. I think it's really important to learn how to do this pose and to hold it for a long period of time, because in the future we're going to use this pose to work into a lot of different strength exercises. So even though it seems completely out of your league now, maybe in the future this is going to be one of those things that's just a fundamental. It's something that's easy and you can do for as long as you need to, or even at the end of a hard sweaty workout. So you can tell I'm huffing and puffing a little bit, so if it's hard for me, I'm sure it's pretty hard for you. Plant the hands, take the knees to the backs of the triceps, come up onto the toes. Again, you could leave one foot down or both, or just come up. Bent arms or straight arms. We're just gonna hold. Feel the weight in the fingers, working around in the forearms, squeeze everything in, squeeze the inner hands together. Really important to take control of the shoulder girdle. You could always have your feet on a block too. That's a nice way to take it, just for another few breaths. Slowly set the feet down, set the butt down, hands to the heart. Last little thing for you, really fun. Take your mat, move it out of the way. You can do this in socks if you have a hardwood floor. If you have carpet, you can take a plate or a cooking tray, works great. Just something that's going to slide on the surface. Open your towel up, place your feet on top. These are called V-ups. They're really good for building core. We're going to do straight arm V-ups this time. So start from plank pose, slide the feet up, contract the core, bring it back down. Take it in for 2, bring it down. If your hamstring flexibility is bad, feel free to bend the knees coming in this way. It works really good. If you have the hamstring flexibility, it just works that much more to keep it up. We'll do 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your way through a vinyasa. Take it back, downward facing dog. Step off the mat, bring your mat back, get ready for some stretching. You've earned it. Downward facing dog, lift the right leg up. Cross the shin across the front of the mat, taking the right knee to the right elbow. Left foot over to the left wrist. Crawl back through the left leg, walk the hands back. Sink down into the hips. If your hips are really tight and you have a large gap right here and you can't bring the hips down, take a block or a pillow or a blanket and fill up this space. It'll make it a lot more comfortable, a lot safer into the pose. Also, if you're not that open, keep the right heel towards the left hip. To get deeper into it, you bring the leg forward. Walk back through the left leg a little bit more, sink down into the hips. When you're ready, walk the arms forward. Just 1 minute in this pose. Like all the stretching poses here, if you feel like you'd like to take some more time, stop the video, spend a minute or 2 longer in the pose, and when you're ready, start the video back up. It's a really good pose to open up into the outer hip. Also, if you have any kind of sciatic pain or any issues with the sciatic nerve, This helps open up and alleviate that pain. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Press up, curl the left toes under, lift the left knee, extend the right leg back, bend the knee and open the hip. Work through the hip joint. Set the right foot down. Lift the left leg up. Cross the left shin across the front of the mat. Bring the back knee down. Crawl the right foot back, sinking down into the hips again. If you need to fill up the space underneath the left hip, fill it up. Set the heart up. When you're ready, walk the hands forward, easing your way down into pigeon pose. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Curl the right toes under, lift up. Send the left leg back. Bend the knee and open up the hip. Work through the space. Set the left foot down. Walk the feet forward. Cross the ankles. Extend the legs forward. Pull the left foot into the inside of the right leg. Lift the chest up. Line the center of the sternum up with the center of the shin. Crawl the arms forward. Come into the forward fold, ground down through the outer left hip. If you're up here, that's fine. If you need to add on blocks or you can't even reach your toes, you could always use a strap to help pull yourself in deeper. Stretching, especially forward folds, takes a lot of time to open up the hamstrings and even into the low back where we lack a lot of flexibility just from sitting so much. So the longer that you can take and the more time that you do these poses, the greater the flexibility will become. Try to soften out through the shoulders. Reach the heart forward. Bring the hands back. Set yourself up. Send the left leg forward. Pull the right foot in. And sit yourself up. Line the center of the chest up with the center of the thigh. Crawl the arms forward. Reach the chest forward. When you found as much length and extension as you can, take a deep inhale. On the exhale, roll down into the leg. Know that you're going to have one leg that's more flexible than the other. That's fine. Walk the hands back, lift yourself up, extend the right leg forward. Press into the heels, use the core to set yourself back. Onto your back, draw the right knee into the chest, squeeze it in. Take the right knee over to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale back to center. Straighten the right leg. Draw the left knee into the chest. Take the left knee over to the right. Gaze to the left. Return to the back. Draw both knees into the chest. One last final squeeze. Take a deep inhale, maybe a little massage of the low back. Straighten the legs out. Roll the palms up. Take a last deep, final, controlled breath. Exhale, release, relax.